Good morning, everybody. It's great to be down here today, and let me go ahead and officially call the meeting to order, and we'll go ahead and begin with our pledge, and if Miss Susan Collins can lead us in that, and then right afterwards we will have our prayer by Mr. Crosby.
Ready? Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Standing, please.
Our kind Father in heaven, we're indeed grateful for this beautiful day that Thou hast given us. We're grateful for this opportunity to meet as Apache County and as representatives of the good citizens here. We're grateful for our free country and the freedoms that we enjoy, for the men and women who have sacrificed for those freedoms. We're grateful for the opportunities we have to work together, and ask that Thou will bless us with a spirit of cooperation and with wisdom in the decisions that are made, that it will be for the common good. And we ask this in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Good morning, Supervisor Shirley. I believe he's joining us on the phone this morning. Also, good morning, Supervisor Simshauser. Let us begin with our items for today. Our Public Health Service District. Go ahead and call that to order. We have several items, 4 items on the agenda. So, Mr. Saxon.
Good morning, Supervisor Shepard,
Morning,
Supervisor Simshauser, and Supervisor Shirley. Our first item is discussion and possible approval of the medical consultant, medical director agreement between North Country Healthcare and the Health District, effective September 15th, 17th through September 14th, 2022. The medical director consultant issues standing orders. He's also the TB control officer for the county, and then assist us if we have technical questions, technical medical questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Saxon. It is a discussion and possible approval. What are your wishes?
Move to approve.
There's a motion by Supervisor.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Mr. Shirley.
Yeah, go ahead and move that we approve.
Okay, I've got a motion by Supervisor Simshauser. I'll go ahead and recognize Mr. Shirley as a second for that motion. Any discussions? Questions? See none, hear none. Call for the question for your approval. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. We have 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Next item, item 2.
Item 2 is submission of clinical services quarterly update for the 4th quarter. No action is required on this item. It's a contractual agreement or item that we have to deliver every quarter to update the board.
Okay, item 2 is just an update report. Thank you for for the report, and it's in our packet. Let me go ahead and go down to item 3, discussion and possible approval.
We request discussion and possible approval to eliminate the vacant Community Emergency Response Team Coordinator, range 34, and to create Administrative Assistant 3, position range 34. The CERT Community Emergency Response Team Coordinator position is no longer needed. It's an outdated position.
Okay, there's discussion, possible action. Gentlemen?
I move to approve.
Okay, there's a motion by Supervisor
Second.
Simshauser, second by Supervisor Shirley. Any further discussions, questions? Hear none, see none? Okay, we'll call for the question for your approval. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's unanimous, 3 in favor, none opposed. Next item, item 4.
We request discussion and possible approval to appoint Elizabeth Painter as a Deputy Public Fiduciary pursuant to ARS 145601B. Our public fiduciary has been out ill for almost a month now, and it limits what we can do that we need to do in the public fiduciary's office when we don't have a public fiduciary or a deputy to sign documents and to keep things flowing along. So clients that need utilities paid or need their allowance, we've been searching for a way to do that legally. And through the county attorney's office, the statute allows the appointment of one or more deputy public fiduciaries. So this would help that office keep that work flowing along smoothly without any interruption. We'd be better service to the wards that we have.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Saxon. There is a discussion, possible approval. What are your wishes, gentlemen?
Move to approve.
There's a motion by Supervisor Simshauser,
Second.
second by Supervisor Shirley on the phone. Any further discussion? Questions? See none, hear none. We'll call for the question. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our Public Health Service District. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
There's a motion by
Second.
and a second by Supervisor Shirley. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 It's unanimous. Now let's go ahead and move down to officially adjourn with that. Let's go ahead and move down to our library district. Let me go ahead and call that to order. We have 4 items on our agenda.
Good morning,
Ms. Collins.
Supervisors.
Morning.
First item, discussion and possible approval of the acceptance of 451 books donated by the Navajo Nation Library to the Sanders Public Library at an approximate value of $8,479.87.
Okay. Discussion, possible approval. Gentlemen.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Supervisor
Second.
Simpson. Second by Supervisor Shirley. Any discussions, questions? See none, hear none? Okay, call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's unanimous. 3 in favor. Thank you. Next, item 2.
This is just a submission of the Library District Annual Report for fiscal year 27-2018 by state statute. I am to submit that to the board, and you have it in your packet.
Thank you. Okay, item 2 is just for submittal of annual report. Item 3 is possible approval.
Discussion and possible approval to increase weekly hours for 5 library specialists from 32 hours to 40. This request is due to a lack of personnel and additional library patronage. This will result in a cost increase of $29,456.90, but funding will come from the existing budget.
Okay. All right.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Shirley.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Simshauser. Any further discussions, questions? See none, hear none? Call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. It's 3 in favor, unanimous. Next item, item 4.
Discussion and possible approval to eliminate 2 library manager positions range 30 and create the position of senior library manager, and authorize a 5% increase for the current librarian 3 due to increased duties. This will result in a savings of $78,120.61.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
So move.
A motion by Supervisor Simshauser, second by Supervisor Shirley. Any discussion, questions? See none, hear none. We'll call for the question for approval. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous. Okay, with that, that's the conclusion of our Library District meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn the Library District meeting?
So move.
Second.
So moved by Supervisor Shirley, second by Supervisor Simshauser. Okay.
Thank you, Supervisor.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, let's go ahead and move down on our agenda. We have our flood control district, and we'll go ahead and open discussion on that. We have 2 items on our agenda for that. Mr. Crosby.
Good morning, Supervisors.
Morning, sir.
Item 1 is a discussion and possible approval of a contract addendum and change order with Creative Multimedia Incorporated. This is Robert Toy. We have him on contract to help us with parcel map signs, rural addressing, county flood control projects as needed. This is a contract that we've had in place since 2008. Mr. Toy does a great job for us in leveraging our meager funds to get federal dollars. He's very proficient at what he does, and we appreciate all he does. We want to extend his contract another year to June 30th, 2019. The contract amount is $60,000 and is in our current budget. Would recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Crosby? Gentlemen?
Make a motion.
There's a motion by Supervisor Simshauser. Second?
Second.
Supervisor Shirley makes the second. Any discussions, questions, gentlemen? See none, hear none? Okay, we'll call for the question here. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. It's 3 in favor, none opposed, unanimous. Motion carries. Okay, item 2.
Supervisors, item 2 is a discussion and possible approval to extend a joint funding agreement for precipitation gauges in the affected wildfire watersheds. This agreement is an agreement that we've had in the past. It had lapsed. We have analyzed it and thought that we should extend it one more time. This would be for fiscal years 2019 and 2020. The county's anticipated share would be $12,400 each year, and we would recommend approval.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crosby.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Shirley.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Simshauser. Any questions, gentlemen? See none, hear none. I'll call for the question for approval. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. It's 3 unanimous, 3 in favor, none opposed. That concludes our Flood Control District meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Supervisor Simshauser, motion.
Second.
Supervisor Shirley, seconds. Okay, we do have a motion for adjournment. All in favor say aye for adjournment.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, 3 in favor, none opposed. Thank you. Okay, let's move down on our agenda. We do have our regular Board of Supervisors meeting and agenda. We have several items on our agenda. Let me go ahead and start with number 1, Finance Department.
Good morning, Supervisors. This is for the discussion and possible approval of the 2018-2019 tax levy rates for all county jurisdictions. A copy is in front of you today for review.
Okay. All right, there's a discussion for possible approval. Item 1, gentlemen.
Move to approve.
There's a
Go ahead and move we approve, sir.
Okay, there's a motion by Supervisor Simshauser, second by Supervisor Shirley. Any discussions? Okay, no questions? If none? Okay. Our county treasurer, Marlita. Okay.
Good morning, Yate, Board of Supervisors. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. We just need clarification on the rates. We have one that's posted on the website, and then we picked up one right here, and the rates are a little bit different, so I just need clarification. Do we use this one, Ryan, or do we use the one that's posted?
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
members of
Go
the
ahead,
board,
Mr.
Ms. McGay, there was a few slight changes given to us by the other jurisdictions late Friday and early this morning, so the current one is the one we're looking at, the one you picked up in the back, yes.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, any other discussions? Okay, with that, let me go ahead and call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That's 3 in favor. It's unanimous. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and move down to item 2, County Manager, for consent agenda items.
Yes, Chairman, members of the board, we have a consent agenda here and before you, items A through H, and we'd recommend approval.
Okay. Gentlemen, is there a motion?
Move that we approve.
Supervisor Shirley motion, second by Simshauser. Okay, with that, any discussions, questions? See none, hear none. Call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous, 3 in favor, none opposed. So, next item, Superior Court. I guess, is that part of the consent agenda? Yes, it is. Okay, item 3, our Sheriff's Office, discussion and possible approval of resolution lifting the fire restriction previously imposed under Resolution 2018-06. Chief Deputy?
Good morning, Supervisors, members of the Board. This is for discussion and possible approval of a resolution lifting the fire restrictions previously imposed under Resolution 2018-06. In the resolution, it does state that upon issuance of the initial order, the chairman authorizes the emergency management director or manager to modify the restriction level or cancel restrictions as conditions warrant per the NFRDS and preparedness levels indicators to determine the cancellation of restrictions. That came about a couple of weeks ago as we received enough moisture and the fuel moisture levels increased. The fire danger dramatically dropped. So the fire restrictions were lifted at that time, and this is the resolution to make that official through the board. We'd recommend approval.
Thank you, Chief Deputy.
Move we approve.
Motion by Supervisor Shirley,
Second.
second by Supervisor Simshauser. Any further discussions, questions? See none, hear none. Call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's unanimous, 3 in favor, none opposed. Motion carries. Next item, Sheriff's Office. Go ahead, Mr. Deputy.
This is for discussion and possible approval to allow the payment of overtime at 100% of normal salary for FLSA exempt Sheriff's Office employees, subject to availability of appropriated funds when the overtime work is performed, subject to a current existing grant to reimburse the county for such wages, and the payment of documented hours worked within the last 6 months pursuant to such grant.
I think you skipped item 4.
Oh, sorry. I guess we'll go back to item 4. Sorry, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. That was a long reading for all that. Now I got to do it all again. Okay, number 4. Discussion and possible approval of agreement DC-19-001 between Arizona Criminal Justice Commission and the Apache County Sheriff's Office for the Drug, Gang, and Violent Crime Control Grant Agreement in the amount of $216,257. The grant requires a 25% match, which will be paid utilizing RICO funds, and we would recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
Move we approve.
Supervisor Shirley, motion. Second by Supervisor Simshauser. Any further discussions, questions? Hear none, see none. We'll call for the question for approval. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous. Motion carries. Item 5.
I'll do this again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Discussion and possible approval to allow the payment of overtime at 100% of normal salary for FLSA exempt Sheriff's Office employees, subject to the availability of appropriated funds when the overtime work is performed, subject to a current existing grant to reimburse the county for such wages, and payment of documented hours worked within the last 6 months pursuant to such grant. Board members, we have a couple of grants through the Governor's Office of Highway Safety and the Forest Service that is for overtime. That's all it can be used for, is for overtime outside the scope of the deputies' normal work. The problem we're having is some of the deputies no longer want to work additional overtime, and we have exempt employees, i.e. the commanders, who would like to be able to go out and do that. The funding is external, it's grant funded, so we would recommend approval for that.
Move to approve.
There's a motion by
Second.
Simshauser, second by Supervisor Shirley. Any further discussions, questions? See none? Hear none? We'll call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous. Congratulations. Thank you. Okay, item 6, County Manager.
Yes, Chair, members of the board, this is discussion and possible approval of the contract with Veritas Research Consulting and its agent Doyle Shamley. We'd recommend approval.
Okay.
Move to approve.
There's a motion by Supervisor Simshauser. Is there a second? Call for a second. Third and final call for a second. Okay. There isn't a second, Mr. County Attorney. Is this motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. If there's a motion and no second, then the item would die for lack of a second.
Okay. All right. With that, item 7.
Chair and members of the board, this is item 7, discussion and possible approval of an agreement between District 2 and the Navajo Sanitary Incorporated for trash disposal, and we'd recommend approval.
Okay. With that, if I may, Supervisors, I was going to hold off on this item 7, which is in my district. I believe that we found a more feasible way of cost savings to address our trash disposal. And if I can maybe ask that we just delete this off the agenda, or don't need the necessary approval on this for time being until at a certain time I bring it back. So just for your information, I guess we can delete this, or ask if we can get it deleted or taken care of at a later time. Okay? Sure. All right. With that, let me go down to item 8.
Yes, Chairman, members of the board, this is discussion and possible approval of the liquor license application recommendation for Tricia's Haley, DBA, or doing business as Haley Groceries, LLC, located at the Jiffy Store at 36 Commercial Drive in Concho, Arizona, and we'd recommend approval.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Supervisor
Second.
Simshauser, second by Supervisor Shirley. Any further discussion? Questions? See none, hear none. Call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. 3 in favor, none opposed. Item 9, County Manager.
Chair and members of the board, item 9 is discussion and possible approval of an amendment to the intergovernmental agreement regarding the coalition of the Arizona and New Mexico counties. This amendment will cause an increase of annual membership dues to $3,100 to cover liability insurance for the coalition. Gentlemen, we approved this back 4 or 5 months ago. The rate at the time was $2,500. They're asking for $600. They went back in and looked at it and found that they didn't have insurance. They were liability insurance, so they're looking for an additional $6 from the members just to be able to pay for that liability insurance, and we'd recommend approval.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
There's a motion by Supervisor Simshauser. Second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Shirley. Further discussions, questions? Hear none, see none. We'll call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 It's unanimous. 3 in favor, none opposed. Item 10, Mr. Patterson.
Yes, gentlemen, this is discussion and possible approval to create and fill an administrative coordinator position with the current employees in their present salary of $37,081.62. This individual will be the one managing the phones and the mail room at this time. So the print, mail, and phones.
Okay.
Not print, mail and phones, sorry. And would recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Shirley, second by Supervisor Simshauser. Any further discussions, questions? Hear none, see none. We'll call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous. 3 in favor, none opposed. Item 11, Finance Department.
Good morning. Item 11 is discussion and possible approval of professional services agreement with REDW LLC to prepare the government-wide and fund financial statements for the county, along with the related footnotes, required supplementary information, or RSI, and supplementary information other than RSI, for the years ended June 30th, 2018 and 2019. The estimated fee for each fiscal year will not exceed $30,000. We recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Supervisor Shirley's motion. Second?
Second.
Supervisor Simshauser, seconds. Any further discussions, questions, gentlemen? Hearing none? Seeing none? We'll go ahead and call for the approval. All in favor say aye.
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 It's unanimous, 3 in favor, none opposed. Okay, next item is item 12, District 3.
Good morning, Supervisors.
Morning.
This is discussion and possible approval of grant agreement between Apache County and United States Department of Agriculture Rural Business Development Grant 10.351. The grant award is for $40,000 with $32,663 in matching funds. Apache County will provide in-kind administrative support in the amount of $5,000. The remaining match will be administrative support from White Mountain Regional Medical Center and the town of Springville staff.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Supervisor Simshauser, second.
Second.
Supervisor Shirley, seconds. Any further discussions, questions? See none, hear none. Okay, we'll call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. District 3.
This is discussion and possible approval of professional services contract for Yelton and Associates to carry out the scope of work for a feasibility study at the White Mountain Regional Medical Center in Springville. This contract will be paid $40,000 out of the grant that was just approved.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Supervisor Simshauser. Second.
Second.
Supervisor Shirley, seconds. Any further discussions, questions? Hear none, see none. Okay. We'll call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous. Item 14, County Engineer.
Supervisors, this item is a discussion and possible approval to enter into a cooperative forest road agreement with the USDA through the Forest Service, Apache Sitgraves National Forest, and Apache County. We would recommend approval. This is an ongoing agreement that we have exercised for many years with the Forest Service and would recommend approval.
Okay. Is there a motion, gentlemen?
Move to approve.
So moved.
Okay, I'll recognize Supervisor Shirley for approval, second by Supervisor Simshauser. Any further discussions, questions? Hear none, see none. We'll call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 It's unanimous. 3 in favor, none opposed. Item 15, County Manager. Mr. Crosby.
That was a faux pas. Supervisors, this item is a request for the abandonment of easements in the Sholo East Unit 1 subdivision. I did include you a color map there. The blue roads are the roads that are easements that are asking to be abandoned. They followed all the procedures required. We received no dissenting votes from the local residents. They each was sent in a certified mail asking for their approval, which they approved. The county attorney has reviewed it, and we would recommend that these be abandoned.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crosby. Is there a motion?
So move. Approve.
Okay, Supervisor
Second.
Simshauser, second by Supervisor Shirley. Any further discussion? Okay, call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous. 3 in favor, none opposed. Item 16, Mr. Whitey.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 16, County Attorney's discussion and possible approval of an agreement between Apache County Attorney's Office and Axon Enterprises. There is no cost associated with this agreement. It's just a legal agreement. It allows us to coordinate better with our law enforcement agencies to review their evidence, body cameras, things of that nature. So we would recommend approval.
Okay, gentlemen.
So moved.
Supervisor Shirley motions, and second by Supervisor Simshauser. Any questions? Hear none. I'll call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It's unanimous. 3 in favor, none opposed. Item 17. Mr. Whitey?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 17, County Attorney, following a possible executive session for legal advice pursuant to ARS 38431-03A3, possible discussion and or action regarding the current PILT appropriation lawsuit. I don't know that executive session is necessary. If the board feels we need to go into it, that's fine. Otherwise, our office has reviewed this. We've worked with other offices and met with different people, and we feel that joining this class action lawsuit is the best route to go. But if we want to discuss the legalities of it, then we should go into an executive session.
Okay. What are your wishes, gentlemen? You recommend for approval, or do you want to go into executive session?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Mr. Shirley?
if we can go ahead and take care of the particular item in public session, then let's go ahead and do this. So with that, I'll go ahead and move that we approve.
Okay. There's a motion by Supervisor Shirley for approval. Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Simshauser. Okay. We're in public setting, so if there are any questions? Hear none? See none? Okay. There is a motion for approval, so we'll go ahead and call for the question for approval. All in favor say aye.
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 It's unanimous, 3 in favor, none opposed. Item 18 is a call for the public, and I do have one here, Mr. Art Martica, to address HC 655270-13. Sir?
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
I'm here to remind the supervisors and Mr. Crosby of an article that was published in the Independent March 10, 2017. And it says, road upgrades on the horizon. I saved this because I want to talk about County Road 5270. After the last storm we had, there's culverts plugged. There was a culvert almost taken out. They came out and repaired it. There's bar ditches that need to be cleaned out, and there's culverts that are plugged that need to be cleaned out. So my question is to Mr. Crosby, when you guys going to come out and do it, and are you ever going to do it? I called your second in command, or the other person over there, Dave. He never called me back. Now you need to drive the road, look at what needs to be done, and fix it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, Mr. Crosby, if you can respond back, I guess, to the question and also for the requests. I guess we'll leave that into your hands. And so with that, let me go ahead. I guess there's no other action items here other than for adjournment. What are your wishes, gentlemen, for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Simshauser motions to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 It's unanimous. We are officially adjourned at 9:04 a.m. Thank you.